Whoops. Hello, everybody. How's it going? You caught me mid beard brush. I have to keep this thing fabulous looking for everybody. How's everyone doing? What's up? Oh, two new followers. I wonder who that one is. Saint AD. I've never heard of that person before anywhere. And Dinstar Dude. Thanks for following over there on Twitch. More shoddy. What up, buddy? As you notice, I'm very large on the screen today. Not that I'm not very large the other times, but usually you can only see me in a tiny little screen. And that's because Crystal and Ebony have adulting to do. Crystal is a teacher and Ebony is a mom and a fantastic, I don't know what she does. I think it's social media stuff for the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I think it's social media stuff for the Washington Commanders. So she's always super freaking busy. Dinstar was Josh. I knew Saints is Andrew, but I wasn't sure if Dinstar was Josh. What up, Noman Garden? We are going to be watching episode 5 today. And speaking of Andrew and Josh, hold on a second. Let me check. I think.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
Yay! Ooh.
Oh, well, hello.
Ooh, you got a little captain in you?
Well, a little sailor anyway, yeah.
Oh, Sailor Jerry?
Hashtag not endorsed, but...
Where are we sailing to?
To the moon. Oh, no, it's flying me to the moon.
We're just like sailors in the breeze. That is who we are.
Sail away, sail
Sparkle
away,
spring.
sail away.
Ooh, doesn't Cartman sing that at some point?
No, he sings Come Sail Away.
Come sail away. Oh yeah, come sail away.
Which is another great one.
Is that Evanescence? I don't remember. That song is just in my head.
Sail away, sail away, sail away. It's like Orinoco Flow is the name of the song.
So
this is more. I'm sharing a lot about Enya right now.
Doesn't quite sound like Evanescence to me.
Who the hell are you guys, by the way?
Oh,
we're just some randos you picked up on the side of the road, and we're like,
hey, we busted out on the scene last week.
I didn't say what do you guys smell like. I said, who are you?
Hey, I actually just showered today, so you leave me alone.
We are the Mahales of the Black Tower podcast. My name is Josh. Normally I'm the Sorvon Mahale, but for tonight's purposes, I'm going to be the face for Mahale.
Ooh.
Because that's where we're at.
I like it.
We're in.
You have some product in there. I can see it.
Yeah, a little bit of wax, a little bit of oral.
I'm still mad about how consistent yours is, like all the way through the length. Like as mine gets down to here, you can see it thins out from where I do this all day and like accidentally pull little strands out, so it just thins.
Mine blends in with my shirt. I forgot that I swore I would stop wearing black shirts when I do these things because of how much it blends in with my shirt.
That's why I wear dark color shirts. So it's not as often.
And who the hell are you, sir?
I'm just some guy that apparently people like to watch on streams and do things with. Apparently, I don't know.
As they should.
I feel like I could like Wet Willie.
Ooh, well, it's going somewhere. I'm gonna save
gateways.
That's gonna get clipped for my personal benefit later.
Josh Wet Willieing the octopus.
Yeah. There's another epic beard in our chat.
That's a sword farm. Wet Willieing the octopus.
That's Reginald.
Hello, Reginald.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's new with you guys this week? I've finally finished Baldur's Gate 3. I finished watching the new season of Loki. It was fantastic, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Have you guys watched it at all?
I'm actually in the middle of the finale, like right now. I was watching before I signed in here to get caught up, and dang, it's got some. I like the time loop angle that they went. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some interesting Asgardian Easter eggs in the finale that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet. Loki's just talking to he who
be careful
remains.
because I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Saying
no spoilers.
anything.
Oh.
Apparently, Loki is in the finale of Loki, though. So that's the only thing that you know.
That is
so
true.
Now it's ruined. Absolutely ruined. Unwatchable.
Oh, butterscotch mayo's pouty.
I finally finished Starfield.
Ooh.
Thursday night. So I'm officially into New Game Plus of Starfield, which is a lot of fun.
Nice.
So now you know why I
finished in a while.
Now you know why I said I sped through my first play once I found out what happens. For those who don't want to get spoiled on Starfield, you basically are reborn and start the game again, but with all of your level and powers from the last game.
Everything but all your loot and your money.
Yeah, and your ship, which is kind of sad because I was like,
but all your XP and skills though.
Yeah,
you keep all of that, which is cool, and it opens up like new dialogue options and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's actually like not exactly a New Game Plus, and kind of like just continually playing the game because it alters the game depending on what you did in the prior save that you did.
Interesting.
It actually changes the game in the next one. Like you can meet characters at different times. Different characters can have different roles. All kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm going to be playing it on stream sometimes during the week, randomly when I have the spoons to stream.
Yeah. My favorite part is that you can pretty much just skip half of the main storyline quest whenever you move into the New Game Plus, whatever. Yeah. The annoying thing is like there's powers that you can level up by moving into New Game Plus, basically. But you got to go back and find all these things again. There's like 24 of them. You got to do it like 10 times to max them out. But which I don't think I'll ever do because I'm not like super dedicated to full 100% completing the game. Especially given that I have some friends that have kind of done it at least halfway or some part, and they're like, with you leveling up as you do it, it doesn't really give you enough of a boost to really warrant it unless you just want to full complete the game. So,
yeah. I mean, you completed the game once already without doing it, so you can complete the game without doing it. It's just funsies.
Oh, yeah.
I got 45 of the 50 achievements on my first playthrough, so you probably don't need to do it like the only thing you need to do, there's probably one achievement to get, to fully maxing out all the powers.
Yeah. I have no idea how many achievements I got.
It's one of the first. It's one of the like most recent fantasy games that I've actually completed that I hadn't seen anything that I attributed to a Wheel of Time reference. By the way, also because I saw a Wheel of Time reference in Baldur's Gate, which is a spoiler, so I don't want to mention just yet. A spoiler for Baldur's Gate. And it's actually a spoiler. It's after book 3, so I don't want to mention it for Wheel of Time either. But I don't remember if I saw one in Starfield, but if I did, it didn't stick in my head or I didn't catch it. So
I'm just gonna go with the ending / beginning.
Oh yeah, time is a circle.
Go with that. It's a circle. But I did that, and then in the times where I could be watching all the fancy popular shows that I should. Instead, I wound up watching random anime. Like I just watched. What did I finish? I know I finished one called Sweet Reincarnation, where like this genius master, like sweet pastry chef, gets reincarnated in another world. So it was actually more interesting than I thought it would be from the start.
Okay.
I finished a couple other little random anime things.
And I've just been I've rewatched season 1 now since we started doing this twice, and interposing that with like 1990s, and late 1980s Jackie Chan kung fu movies.
Ooh.
Today I watched Rumble in the Bronx and Who Am I, which is also about a guy that was a cook. So,
that just makes
Love
me want
it.
to rewatch Drunken Master and The Tuxedo.
Wang Fei Hung.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wang Fei
Yeah,
Hung.
no. I
love
love Drunken Master. Drunken Master is great.
It's one of my it's one of the all-time bests.
It's great. It's really good. But I gotta say, my favorite Jackie Chan movie to this day still, and I can't remember if it's Police Story or Police Story 2, but one of the final fights is on a cruise ship, and they get thrown into a Street Fighter machine, like a Street Fighter arcade machine, and when they bounce into it, all of the like Jackie Chan and the other 3 or 2 people that he's fighting turn into Street Fighter characters. One of the villains is Dalsim, the Indian guy that shoots fire.
Right. Yoga fire.
One is Sagat, and Jackie Chan is Chun-Li. And it's freaking fantastic. First of all, Jackie Chan looks great in some short shorts or some shorts in a short skirt and the hair bun. He's got some legs when he's like in his 20s. But the fighting is hilarious. It's freaking hilarious.
I love it.
I think the bad guys cycle through different characters too, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but it's freaking hilarious. If you haven't seen that, you should watch it. Speaking of watching things, we're going to get ready to start episode 5 here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to give everybody time to queue up their shows like I usually do. If you're not going to follow and watch along on Twitch, if you want to follow with us and watch like we usually do, you could go over to our Twitch account. I'll post a link to our No, I shouldn't do that because then I will get demonetized on YouTube. I hate this stuff. I hate remembering these rules. Like it's so just monotonous. Anyway, like we're going to get around it anyway. So why not just let us do whatever the hell we want? But anyway, you can find us on Twitch. I think we're Dragonmount.com on Twitch. So yeah, if you want to follow and watch along on Twitch, join the watch party, go to Dragonmount.com on Twitch. If not, you can follow along and I'll shout out the times as we get through the episode. So this episode is a sore point for a lot of the Wheel of Time community is a gentle way of putting it. I've been reading a lot of reviews, like today, getting ready for this episode. I read a lot of like reviews of this episode, and to be perfectly honest, like just so that I try not to be biased with it. Like I try to go into it when I watched it for the first time. I tried to go into it with like an open mind as someone, even like a non-book reader. But I saw, I want to say 50-50 negative positive reviews from both book readers and non-book readers. Like I was reading comment sections, which I don't suggest anyone ever does. And just reading like, actual content creator reviews, some people that, we know, people that I've never heard of, just random bloggers and stuff like that. And I saw like, I want to say like pretty much split down the middle, 50-50 people that loved and liked the episode 5 and people that absolutely hated it. So I guess I think I know. I remember what your guys' feelings were on this because we did. I don't know if we watched episode 5 when we did our first rewatch of season 1, but you guys were definitely there and we talked about it. But I don't remember if you guys liked it or didn't like it.
Episode 5 is the one where we meet Loyal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So episode 5 for me has some really great standout moments. And some really good moments of actual adaptation from the stories. And I don't mean that like throwing shade. I mean, like, we've got some good adaptive scenes from the books that
Yeah.
went into the
Would that be
show.
an
And I
insult in
think
the Wheel of Time,
overall,
though? Throwing shade?
Yep.
If the IL say, may you always find water and shade, throwing shade, wouldn't that be like a compliment?
that'd be like a good thing. Yes,
Amongst
I am
IO?
I am giving the showrunners some shade, and I'm giving my liver some water.
Yeah, water.
Spicy Jordan Con water. No, episode 5 overall, I think, was one that I was like, we're good with.
Okay. What about
Is
you,
this the
Andrew?
one that's heavily? I don't know why I'm like thinking of a way to non-spoilery say it. Is this the one that's really,
Full, this is so. Just real quick, full book. Full season 1 and season 2 spoilers, and right now we're book spoilers 1 through 3, and then as normally, once the episode of the Wheel of Time is over, we'll have like a minute or two to give people time to skedaddle if they don't want full book spoilers, but then we'll go full book spoilers. So that's our
This is
spoiler
the-
level for now.
This one's the really step-in heavy episode, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the step-in episode. Yeah.
For a lot of these, like I have to give like
2 different kinds of people. In
as
this world.
a TV show, like how do I think, and then Wheel of Time, as a point of TV, I think it's good. I think it's definitely entertaining television because it does do a lot of like kind of expounding on the White Tower and kind of how the bond between like Warders and Aes Sedai work, and just how the White Tower works in general, and everything there. But also, given a lot of the kind of other like catching points in the story from the first 4 episodes, it seems like I would have preferred more story that's not focusing on Steppen and directly in the White Tower, but I still think it makes good TV. As for the Wheel of Time kind of adaptation, a lot of it really good, but I still have the same feedback when it comes to just how much it focuses on Steppen and that kind of stuff in the White Tower. I would have liked to see a little bit less of that and a little bit more of, maybe exploring Matt and the dagger and what's going on with him with that, or Pat and Fane like tracking him around, or
See, it's
Bran maybe practicing the sword somewhere so that he can use it.
It's funny that
why would he need to use it?
I mean, I was going to get to that too. So why do you say that?
About Rand getting to use it?
No, Josh.
Oh,
There's just because he didn't, like, he carried it around a lot, and in the books, like, I get it, So this is one of my big things, is like I understand that they're trying to give us a new turning of the wheel, and I'm cool with that. Great. Good job. Awesome. I'm all for artistic license and reimagining things and things like that. It's great. But like Andrew was saying, like if they had focused a little bit less on new made up storyline and put a little bit more of Rand learning to use a sword, or, like Andrew was saying, the relationship between Matt and the dagger, there's just a lot of story, and they don't have a lot of time to work it into the TV show. And I feel like what they've done is they've kind of been like, well, we can't really explore that as deeply as we would like, so we're not gonna. Here's Steppen. And it's like, again, I understand, I'm not making the decisions. I'm not there for the conversations. And Sarah Nakamura has been on social media and said that, hey, every single episode is hours and hours and hours of planning and conversation and script and rewrites and reshoots and trying to present a cohesive story. And I cannot imagine, the pressure to present that. But I would like to understand why we have so much focus on new things when there's, other things in the books that we could probably enjoy a little bit more.
I would have loved them to just have like Lan teaching Rand, instead of Lan being like so directly responsible for Steppen's being watched. If Lan had been like training with Rand and that kind of stuff, and then you still could have got the same
They
kind
are
of
indeed.
feeling of guilt, because you'd be like, oh, I wasn't there to, you know, help out my friend. I was busy training this other guy because of duty, and now my friend is gone. You still could have gotten the very emotional kind of ending scene, but
it's funny that the way that you put the reasonings why you liked and don't like it, because I feel the exact same way except reversed. So for Wheel of Time, I liked it because it, like, in the sense of TV versus Wheel of Time, like you put it, Andrew. So for TV writing, in my opinion, for the feeling that I got was this episode doesn't further the story that they're telling in season 1. Where, like, when this episode starts, and by the way, we'll start it in like a minute here. But when this episode starts, the story that's happening in season 1 by the end of the episode is no further than it was at the beginning of the episode. And if it is, it's not 45 minutes or 51 minutes or whatever it is further along. It's, maybe some interposed scenes further along with a lot more, non-critical characters. Where from a Wheel of Time side of it, having, been a book reader and knowing how deep the Warders are and how much more they are than just lapdogs of the Aes Sedai, like people, say, or soldiers. They're, they have their own culture outside of like the countries that they were born in. And their families that they were raised in. The Warders themselves, as Warders, have a Warder culture, and they have their own relationships that they have. So I feel like it deepens the meaning of what it means to be a Warder in the sense of the Wheel of Time than it does in than it did in other ways. Oh, what's up, Loyal's Library? Oh, and Light Blinded Fool. What's going on, man? Yeah, it is a whole month later.
Look at all the beautiful people.
I don't mean a timeline wise, like actual time passing. I mean like the story of the episode. Rand doesn't get any closer to Shale Ghul in a sense, and there's not a lot going on. The only thing that happens is Loyal getting introduced. I'm pretty sure, but we'll go through that when we go through. The other thing is, I agree with DK Moon. They could have done a lot of the exposition on the Warders a little bit faster. I don't know about 5 minutes. I think if they were going to still have Steppen take his own life like he did. By the way, trigger warning for this episode for anyone who hasn't seen it. I don't know why you'd be watching a rewatch of a rewatch, but there is a suicide in this episode. So just heads up for everybody.
You don't want to say that one for YouTube.
Ooh, Loyal's Library. Thanks, man.
Hey,
How generous of you.
Sweet.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. That's another one of YouTube's we know likey words. You got to do like self-delete or.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I know. We go back and our editors check for my mistakes. I forget halfway through about. I'm the worst.
A lot more diligent than us.
Yeah. Usually they'll get the emails and they'll be like, oh yeah, right, and then we'll edit it out. But we have the 18 or older content warning on here, so
there you go. Fair enough.
The whatchamacall, the I hope maybe in 10 years time, like Brandon did with Innkeeper Hatch, we could sit down and ask Rafe how much of this episode was supposed to be an entire episode prior to Barney leaving originally. Like, was this always supposed to be like of almost an entire episode of filler, or did you have to like really stretch some of this, or even go back and refilm things?
Yeah,
because you had to fill up time from cutting from other episodes to re-edit to be, to make up for Barney leaving. That's a question that I would love to have answered that I know they probably won't ever answer, or at least not anytime soon.
That's the unfortunate thing too, is I kind of feel like, given the way season 2 went now, that they could have, had they known that this change was going to be made, at the time, assuming that they didn't know when they shot and did all the editing for for episode 5, that was how they were going to do Lan and Moraine's story for season 2. I feel like a fair bit of the more in-depth stuff that we learned through Steppen and Lan, we could have learned through Lan and Maxim and Ivan. Through season 2, and it probably would have felt less of like kind of Lan being mopey and more of like the first in-depth look into like warder culture and the mentality of the warders, rather than
I'm gonna start the episode so that we don't run too late on our show, but we can jump back into that chat in a minute, and I also start a couple of comments in chat that I want to get to, but I'm gonna start the watch party now.
Let's
go. In Twitch, so you should see the watch party thing come up in just 1 second when I click on episode.
Twitchity 2.
And if you are watching in both YouTube and Twitch, bless your heart for giving us 2 views, and also you can feel free to mute us in Twitch and or YouTube, and independently of the show, and still be able to hear the show. So you should be seeing the watch party come up anytime now.
There it is.
Nice. And I will, if you haven't seen it come up yet, you just refresh the Twitch page and it'll pop up. And I will give shout outs throughout as we get into the episode. So we're gonna stick with the recap. I'm not gonna skip anything. So if you're following about 31, and I again suggest having the subtitles on.
I will say that moment, Matt looking at the Murdral, staring him down, and being like, "I see you."
That was sick. That whole Murdral scene was
good.
Like,
so good.
It was good horror. Like I felt like legit emotions. Like I don't want to say I was scared.
Yeah.
I felt.
Oh yeah.
I felt my fight or flight turn on a little bit. Like that was a good scene.
You know what I just noticed in that flashback that I never noticed before? I'm sure people have pointed it out. When Nynaeve goes Super Saiyan, the taint around Logain actually gets kind of blasted away and vaporized.
Oh, really? So she heals some of the taint right then and there already.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not saying that, but
I think they've been foreshadowing some of that stuff for a while with her.
That might actually make sense.
We'll get to that. We'll get to after book 3 spoilers at the end of the episode. I want to jump back to a comment Loyal's Library said. So yes, Barney did leave after they finished filming episode 4 and 5 and part of 6. But Rafe said in an interview that, and I'm not sure if it was our interview. Yes, we did just start Nomen Garden, so we're at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Rafe said in an interview that they had to go back and re-edit all of the episodes because of his leaving. So part of that was they had to salvage scenes of him to reuse, to use throughout 6 to finish him off, and voice and dialogue and stuff, and also to change some of the story so that it flowed better in season 1 without having Matt there. So that's why I'm saying I wonder how much the original episode 5 is in what we got. Ooh, what's up, Reese? Yes, perfect timing. We just started the episode. You missed all of our tangent nonsense that we were doing in the beginning, talking about Starfield and Baldur's Gate and some book series that we all read.
That is a good point there, Tom. That Barney's leaving actually did affect the full season, and you got to kind of wonder what was the original purpose to have as much focus on the Warder funeral, or is that something they had to
reshoot,
expand on because they missed a 5-minute scene with Matt in it, or they missed
Yeah.
5 1-minute scenes with Matt in it, and they had to reorganize stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of funerals, that Shannaren, or maybe even like they don't say exactly that it's like Shannaren, like 100%. They, I think they just say it's the Borderlander tradition. Maybe in the later in the episode, but it's a little different than in the books, and I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate or not. I remember when they buried the Aes Sedai in the books, they buried them in shrouds of their Aja, and I don't remember if that was like always or if it was just the scene that I remember. But maybe Norman Garden remembers. Norman Garden usually has those facts in his.
I think that's what they always tried to do. Though I did like that they kept it all white, because that is the generic mourning color for the Wheel of Time.
For everywhere outside
Except
of the US,
from, oh God, I can't remember. And I don't need to remember the other part because that would be spoiler past this. So.
The white, fun fact, white is actually also a mourning color in most Asian countries. And I think Arab countries too, if I am 100%, but I don't remember. But I know Europe and the US, or at least England in the US and Ireland in the US, it's black. But in a lot of other countries, it's white. Yeah. So there's our 1 month later.
Yeah.
Another little thing I wanted to point out here, you'll see it in a second. If you look at the horse that Stepan is leading across, you'll see Kareni's boots. There it is, facing backwards in the saddle.
Facing backwards, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cowboy reference. It's like and I think it might be like an old soldier thing, like an old army reference too, when they used to ride horses all the time. Is that they would put the soldiers' boots in the stirrups of the horse to show that at least part of them came back home.
Mm.
But very noted that the toes are pointed backwards. That's the important piece of that. Yeah, there's a lot of old symbolism.
One of the guys I worked with, because he was a Cav scout in the army, and they still do the tradition of spurs and the cavalry hat. So they might know. Might be a thing they have. Or we could just Google it. I guess. I forgot to Google it just for a second there.
It's all right. If someone knows, they'll shout it out in chat.
Unless they're waiting, keeping us in suspense.
And I gotta say, having watched like 4 or 5 rewatches of Amazon shows in these rewatches that we've done, and just really liking the trivia sections in most of like in anything really. Like I always, when my wife and I would watch a TV show or a movie especially ones that we've already seen, like if we are rewatching something, we'll always have IMDb up and like be scrolling through the trivia as we're watching it, like for interesting things. The trivia for the Wheel of Time is so much better than the Rings of Power. I've probably said it like 50 times, but the trivia section on the X-ray for this is leaps and bounds better than the Rings of Power.
Well, we also have much better source material. I mean, I'm again not throwing shade at Rings of Power, but they didn't have access to Tolkien's. Like they had access to like Tolkien's notes or something, but they couldn't adapt direct stories.
They can adapt from the books, the main sequence books, the Hobbit and the prologue, but nothing from the Peter Jackson movies and nothing from the Silmarillion.
Yeah, it was which is funny because it was supposed to be the Silmarillion.
Yeah, but the freaking like. That's still a lot of stuff, and all the trivia was in the Rings of Power was citations in the stuff that we were allowed to adapt from, where they got the stuff. So, like, if you go to the scene, if you go to any scene almost in any episode of Rings of Power, There's maybe 4 that we saw that there was an actual legit piece of trivia, like while we were filming this happened or something. But I want to say 95% of the trivia is at any given scene a description of where in the content that they were allowed to pull from they got what you're seeing on the screen. So it's almost like them doing citations for when the Tolkien estate lawyers were going back and watching it so that they didn't get sued, because that's really what it felt like.
That's their footnote section.
It's really what it felt like. So we're at about 9 minutes and 12 seconds for anyone following along there. And the trivia for this part is Tar Valon is considered the greatest and arguably most beautiful city in the world. With the help of the talented builders, the city is situated on an 8-mile island, 8 miles long, 2 miles wide, surrounded by tall, gleaming white walls. There are approximately 500,000 people living on the island, representing nearly all of the various countries of the Westlands. Interesting bit of trivia for the population of Tar Valon. That's not something they really talk about in the books. A lot of people for that amount of square footage.
I'm saying it's a really dense population. It makes me think a lot of like Tokyo or something like that. How just densely populated the areas are.
Yeah. Manhattan is only a little bit bigger than that. Like, I think Manhattan's like 14 or 15 miles long and I think it's actually 2 or 3 miles wide. So, but Manhattan has like 8 million people in it. There's no skyscrapers though in this place. So there's a lot of standalone houses. If there's 500,000 people, there's at least 100,000 houses.
I mean, that makes North Harbor pretty big.
Whoop.
Yeah.
It should be easy to find.
That makes it amazing that it's hard to find. Yeah.
It should be easy, but everyone's got to ask for directions.
I think South Harbor is probably just a little bit bigger, so catches your eye first.
But it does. That is where the sewer system lets out. So you got to watch out.
What have I started?
Just don't get it in your eyes or your mouth, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's how you get pink eye.
That's how you get a lot of things.
Yeah. Speaking of the Tar Valon and the architecture thereof, I think that's another thing that you can't really have a lot of gripes about. I mean, like, I've never heard anyone have too many gripes about the sets, except for some of the more natural settings, aka the Blight, which I hate. I don't know how you guys feel about the Blight, but I hated it, or at least the way they showed it in the end of this season. But Tar Valon, the White Tower, this room, absolutely beautiful. I love it.
I even love. Or is season 2 part of the spoilers?
Yep, you can spoil.
There it is, right there. Seasons 1 and 2. Well. I even loved how the pieces of Tar Valon we see in season 2. Visually it's the same, but the lighting is completely different. The halls are complete, and it gives you an idea of the scale of just how big this place is. And I really, really liked that, because it still felt like the White Tower, but it was very different than these scenes that we're seeing right here. Mm-hmm. Just one of the things they did extremely well.
Yeah.
I just love
set design. Oh,
I just love how much detail they put in anything. Could you imagine being land or something? You go to open the door and you kind of trip and your sword notches something in the door. You just stare at the props department with absolute terror.
So speaking of the props department, so the set designer, the head of the production designer, his name's Andre, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. It starts with an N, and the rest of it is Ukrainian, or Prague, Czech. So I don't want to butcher it, but he's hilarious, and he's responsible for all of the sets that we see in season 1 and season 2. And I had the opportunity to interview him. So if anyone's interested in seeing that, or listening to it because it's audio only, you can go check it out on our YouTube channel. Obviously,
Perfect.
after this. Yes, Loyal's
don't leave
Library.
right
I did
now.
say 8x2, or at least that is what the trivia on this episode says. So at least for the show, Tarvalon is
Okay.
approximately 8x2.
So
And that's
Tarvalon is essentially one of the big cities in the U.S., but it is not the biggest city.
Yeah. Well, it's for population density, but yes, it's pretty big. Andrew turned into a meme. His eyes have a beautiful shade of green to them. How do you feel about Aram in the show versus the book?
You know what? I think Aram is nailed. I think they nailed him. I really do. He's got that sort of like that cocky swagger. He got that riz. He got that eye for Egwene. He likes to be like, "Sup, girl? How you doing?" And he likes to get under Perrin's skin. But at the end of the day, he is a tinker, and he does. I think they did a good job. I think Aram nailed it, and I love Daryl McCormick as well.
Yeah.
And
Wisdom, let me whisper in your ear.
Arosa,
We're not the wind.
We're 15 minutes and 8 seconds, by the way, Arosa.
Just so you guys know, Daryl McCormick is the first cast member from Peaky Blinders to join the show, and
The second being obviously
was Natasha O'Keefe, who
beautiful
plays our
Lanfear.
beloved.
And of course, you know, if you like him as Aram in this, you'd love him when he played the Encino Man in Encino Man. The only thing that I think they changed about Aram in this, and I don't know if this was just the feeling that I got when I read Aram, but he always felt like a dude bro to me, like one of those like fucking douchebag dude bro. I feel like if he lived now, he would have a white belt with a white watch and white sunglasses that he wore on the back of his head, and I'd want to punch him in the face.
He'd live in the middle of a landlocked state. He'd have a Salt Life sticker on the back of his squatted truck.
Yes.
I haven't seen the ocean in my life, but Salt Life, bro.
Yeah.
That is one thing. Another thing I think the show did an amazing job of is giving some of these characters and organizations more depth.
Yeah, definitely.
Isla, gorgeous, absolutely amazing.
We know how you get down. If anyone wants to screenshot.
Aram, he's got way more depth to him. Even the White Cloaks, they're an actual threat in the show, rather than just frat boy bullies.
I mean, they're not even that in the books. Like the first time we meet think about it. The first time you meet the White Cloaks, the only thing we've heard about them up to that is that they're a nuisance. Everyone talks about them as a nuisance
from this episode.
And then the first time you meet them is Matt and Perrin playing a joke on them by rolling a barrel like a freaking Abbott and Costello bit down an alley at them and then falling in the mud. Like that's how you're introduced to the White Cloaks.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Here it is.
I love this so much. I love it. Loyal is so perfect.
When he walked on screen, now I gotta admit, I was jarred for a minute. Like I had all types of expectations built in my head. And I want to know what everyone thinks about this. But the moment I heard him speak, I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yes. Visually, I was not a fan. Like it jarring is the perfect word for it.
Yeah. It took
because visually I was like, it's okay, that's a choice that they made. But every time he talks, it's just chef kit. And even how they sort of like talk over him, and ignore him, and he's like, yes, I'm going to grab my books. And they're like, yeah, grab your books, we're going by. So hasty, these humans. He's perfect. He's perfect. Hamad is, mwah. You're a beautiful, beautiful man, and thank you for the beautiful job you're doing with Loyal. Just absolutely amazing.
The line that he just did too, when it was like, an Isleman who doesn't know he's an Isleman from the Two Rivers. Like, he's got this wisdom, but also like this childlike
naivete.
But it's I mean, yes, but it's because it's layered with actual facts and wisdom.
Yeah.
It's like a bluntness bordering on being rude, like a child. Like when a child looks at somebody and is like, "You're fat," or "You're bald," like and that's what he's doing essentially, but with actual facts about things.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? And we have somebody who had only seen the show and never read any of the books the first time they saw this, and that's Arosa. So if there's anyone else in chat right now that had never read the books when they first saw this, I want to hear from you too. But I know Arosa can answer this. Having never read the books, if you can remember, what did you think of of Loyal when you met him here? How did you feel about his costuming and his voice and everything? I'm curious about that because, I've grown to like his prosthetics and his stuff, but when I first saw it, the production value of it was okay. I don't think it was, in my opinion, it wasn't good enough for Amazon. Yeah, Paint. Yeah. Well, we got Fane earlier too, before they even walked in.
Yeah.
In the form of a whistle. Oh man, I have something so bad I want to say. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get canceled. When we get off camera, remind me that I have something bad I want to say. The production value of his costuming for an Amazon show, it felt more like a WB show to me.
Okay.
But it grew on me. But I don't know if that was because I was I had a vision of an Ogier that I've built in my mind over 20 years, or if it was legitimately because the costuming was not great. I don't know. So that's why I'm wondering if Arosa has an answer for that. And we are 21 minutes and 32 seconds right now. But yeah, so what do you guys think of? So Josh, I got you, but what about you, Andrew? What did you think of Loyal?
I think the acting is incredible. Just the tonality of the way the lines are delivered, the timbre of his voice, all of that's really great. I'm just not a massive fan of the prosthetics. It can't be easy to try to grab anything with the hand prosthetics. And I mean, it's one of those things. I think it does. I'm not going to say infinitely because eventually, CGI will be incredibly talented and able to do it, but I like the practical effect better than current CGI. So that was the only thing that was kind of jarring for me. Was I don't know exactly what I expected an Ogier to look at, but to me, the prosthetics came off very, very incredibly obvious, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But I also know trying to recreate Loyal is also an incredibly daunting task.
Oh yeah.
The only
I wasn't too upset by it.
Okay, that is a fair assessment, Arosa, and I appreciate your me putting you on the spot and you answering. So thank you. You get 10 points.
Gryffindor?
No, just for no reason. I award people points throughout time. I also deduct points, but I do that quietly in my head. So two facts that I know specifically about Loyal. One is that Rafe said he had an option. make Loyal less book accurate in appearance and get more screen time, or make him more book accurate in appearance and get very little screen time. And if those were my options, I think I like this.
Yeah.
The other
because
one
there is also.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
go ahead.
I was going to say there is also the concept of, there does have to be a person inside walking and moving and doing things. So when it comes to these kinds of prosthetics and these kinds of costuming, and where you've got Ogier, who the makeup that they put on Loyal is just as intense as the makeup they used for the Trollocs, but the Trollocs were in for a couple of scenes. Loyal is in as a repeat character. Like, you need longevity in his ability to move around. So yeah, if they're going to have to, take Book Loyal and give us appearance wise, if they're going to have to give us a Book Loyal light in order to give the actor the ability to do the job and to have the character, do it. I mean, Rafe has, and again, initially it was jarring, but I think it's grown on me. I think it's grown on many of us, where we're just kind of like, okay, you know what? Hamad really did an amazing job with this character. He's sold it to us, and I love it.
I totally agree.
It was one of those things, like, I saw him and I felt the way I felt, and then ever since then it's been like a non-issue. It's not like every time I see Loyal on screen I'm just like,
yeah.
Like,
it grew on me, to be honest. He grew on me, like as a TV show does when you don't know anything about it. Like when you have to learn that, when you have to meet the characters for the first time in a TV show, it grew on me. It grew on me to the point of where I like the character again. Like, not that I didn't like it before, but like I appreciate it as a new, almost like a new character. But the other fun fact was Kathy, our illustrious CEO here at Dragonmount, Kathy Campbell, had a chance to interview Hamed Animashon, who plays Loyal, and he spoke about the prosthetics and stuff like that, and particularly the hands. He said that he didn't feel he didn't become Loyal until he put the hands on, because he had to interact with the world completely differently than he can without the hands on.
No one cared who I was till I put on the hands.
Exactly. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is. And I know that when we were waiting for season 2, I think it was at Jordan Con. It was when they did the Q&A session, and one of the questions was asked, who's probably the most impressive actor on. I can't remember the question is, but they were all answering that Hamad was a beast, an absolute beast, and he does an amazing job. And Daniel Henney specifically said, talked about the prosthetics and the work he has to go through to make that work, and it was
several hours.
Very, very impressive to everyone.
Yeah, it was several hours of makeup and stuff. So, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, the question here is, when he drops it in, the stone is not in there anymore. Kareni's stone is not in there. Do we ever get any information about what happens with that?
No, but I'm assuming that the Aes Sedai took it. Like, from what it seems, we had a lot of theories on the stones, prior to the show. Were they being the show stones, because obviously none of this existed in the books. But the are they terangrial? Like, why do they have the stone? Why do they have stones in them? Why are they shaped differently? Blah blah blah. But I think since we see how the stones are, they do come in and out of those rings, I assume that the Aes Sedai take those to be used again, and then they are put back. The gold of the ring is put into that, ever churning bowl of gold to be reused. I think it's mostly symbolic in nature to, the cycle of rebirth and stuff.
I thought maybe it was buried with her because Reese pointed out in the YouTube chat that it was gone when he kisses the ring at her burial already.
That's also fair.
I thought maybe they buried the rings like with the Aes Sedai, or not the rings, the stone maybe.
This scene felt unnecessary.
I understand why you say that, but I think it was necessary to drive home what the White Cloaks are.
The zealotry, I guess.
Not just that. For anyone who's ever been locked up before, that is almost exactly what it's like.
Okay.
Going in, going in. When you go in, you get stripped down and washed just like that. Now, generally, if you're a man, there's other men. And if you're a woman, it's just women. Not that that's really saving anything, but that is what happens. And that is exactly, to me, what that scene felt like.
Okay.
And that is who the White Cloaks kind of represent in a way. Like, they represent like law in not like, the darker side of policing, because that's kind of what they're doing. They're not following law. They're following fanaticism.
Yeah.
And oh man, Abdul Silas is
he killed it. He's such
instantly within 30 seconds of episode 2 of the cold open of episode 2. I was
yeah,
this man.
I mean, just the decision to ignore all of your silverware and just keep eating with the knife.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's everything he is doing since the moment they were taken has been to break them. That's literally everything he's done. His voice, the way he's walking, the fact that he's not wearing any armor, not wearing his coat, he's down to like, the whatever you want to call this that he's wearing, his vested skirt. I don't know.
Did he set down the one he was eating with to just pick up another one? Or did he just set it down and then just pick up the same one?
He was eating with a teeny tiny one and he pulled up a big one.
We'll see. No. The one that he has is also small. We'll see. I don't know if we get another shot of the desk.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 different knives in this scene that we just uncovered. I don't think that's the same knife.
We'll have to go back and check.
Maybe,
I don't want to.
Maybe the first one was actually sharp so that he could do the eating, and he put down the sharp one to pick up the dull one.
That could be.
That's horrible.
Again, actor safety is like a thing. That's a good point.
That's true.
Good job.
Crazy what proper safety on a set can prevent from happening.
Was that a reference?
That's a good callback, Home Garden.
That was not a reference to anything that actually happened.
Okay.
It's a generic thing, like saying fire extinguishers in a building are good ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good point, Reese.
Yeah, absolutely a callback to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's also they're starting so in the books it takes 4 books for them to knock the Aes Sedai off their pedestal of like knowing everything and being the be all end all, like and not until we meet wise ones. Ugh, God.
I like the care he does too to sanitize. Like I don't like
blade.
it as in like he's doing a good job, but it's really good for the show.
Yeah,
sanitizing the knife with the wine because he's like, if you're gonna die, it's not gonna be from like infection or dirtiness because we're the children of the light. Everything.
Well, but it's also it shows his knowledge on torture. Yeah. Like you're not gonna die till I want you to die. You're not gonna accidentally die from some sort of infection because I didn't wash this knife. You're going to die when I want you to die for the reason I want you to die. Yeah. And that just furthers this character being a fucking horrible person. But
he is.
Getting back to Reese, your comment about her channeling, where the Aes Sedai are, and they do it in the show, but it's done way slower in the books and over like 4 or 5 books, where they kind of build channeling of having to be these hand motions and things like that, and not being able to do certain things because the Aes Sedai said so. Like, and they say you can't untie a weave. You have to channel by moving your hands,
Right.
and like those are the rules until we meet the wise ones who regularly unravel weaves and don't use their hands. So that's when you really start to find out that the Aes Sedai are like, the things they say aren't necessarily true because they're true. They're true because they believe they're true. And
Right.
where that doesn't start until like book 4 or 5, they start it in episode 2 here, which I like. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the other interesting thing about that too is it's another one of those things that the show did really, really well, because we don't have a lot of time for us to deal with the nuance of channeling requires hands. No, it doesn't. Yeah, you got to do it like this. No, I can do it like this. Like, it was really well done. Like that was a bit of storyline that you could absolutely have, truncated a little bit, and they did a really good job with that, I think.
And especially for a non-book reader, like I try to look at everything as a non-book reader, and as a non-book reader, you would pick up on what they're trying to put down with that immediately. And then they expanded on it in season 2, and they're probably going to continue expanding on it throughout the entirety. I would really appreciate it if they show slightly different channeling languages of all of the different cultures that have channeling societies built into them.
Yeah, I know, we got to look at it through the lens of we're appealing to a broader audience. I did not like the chanting in conjunction with the channeling.
Chanting?
But again, that's one of those things I just kind of have to suck up, because that is an obvious translation into television.
Am I having did I have what chanting?
In season 2.
Whenever Ishii channeled to free
to free Lanfear.
Oh, okay. I got you. So he had a couple of somatic components to his spell.
Yeah.
So do you think for our D&D fans, do you think that was a necessary thing, or do you think that was just Ishamael being Ishamael?
It could be Ishii being extra because he's a drama queen.
Morshadi agrees.
But yeah,
he was reciting the prophecy.
Morshadi agrees? Then no, I think you're entirely wrong.
Light blinded fool too.
I think it was just theatrics for the viewer.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Ultimately,
and that's what I'm saying. I think.
Then again, that's sense. The entire show. The entire show is theatrics for the viewer, I guess.
Now, I will say though, in the book, they do briefly mention there having to be like sometimes verbal components to weaves. Like that, there's an. I think Varen mentions some Aes Sedai even having to use words with their weavings. I don't think we ever see it, but it is mentioned. And it's just based on how you're taught.
Well, they do talk about some other groups using another Semitic component to help the Aes Sedai channel.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
And then, of course, there's Kate Fleetwood here, just being the absolute goat.
I know.
She is absolutely one of my, if not my absolute favorite thing about the show. Oh, here we go. And again, this is another place where Loyal is perfect.
Yeah,
he's still talking, and they've already moved on.
Yeah, Nymean's like just trying to get by him in the doorway, like, get the hell out of my way, giant bastard.
I love how he enters too, and he's not just like, "Hey, I have found your long lost friend." No, the most important piece of information for me to say hi with is, "Did you know that I have access to the White Tower ground?"
Right?
Because of her braid, and because of the two rivers, they have braids.
They have a
It's a
very
little
distinct
Sherlock
You know what
moment
he's
of how I
doing?
deduce.
You know what he's doing? He's being, it's again, anyone with kids, I'm sure, Josh, you would understand. He's literally busting into a room and info dumping. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Literally being a child.
There's a sincere beauty to Loyal in the show that's just perfect.
Hamid did just an amazing job. I'm being uninteresting tonight and continuing my tradition of drinking Tito's. Though this week I have it mixed with something and not just straight in a glass like I was last week.
Being more
Speaking of
interesting
drinks,
drinking
Mountain Dew has the citrus cherry gamer fuel again, and it is the superior Mountain Dew flavor. So go out and buy 10 packs of it.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
That reminds me, I need to get more Dubby.
They're going to be changing all of the drinks like that very soon. The laws on those are changing. Federal law. Yeah, because someone died from one of the drinks because it's not properly marked about how much caffeine is in it, and it's also just way too much caffeine. It's illegal in most other countries, but not here, and not in, like, I think South Korea is the only two.
I am not at all surprised by that, because noraebang is a thing, and
the gaming. You think gaming community,
the professional gamers are mostly in South Korea.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you think the gaming communities in the U.S. are crazy, no idea.
You got people in South Korea making 6 digits annual salary being a professional gamer
for like 15, 20 years now. Like, that's not. Yeah. There have been professional game people, like, that is their job for like 15 or 20 since StarCraft came out. Like,
I was just gonna say, I remember when StarCraft 2 came out, and all the professional gamers were like, "Oh, it's a whole new set of mechanics that we have to learn now."
Yeah. But with time,
RuneScape, classic RuneScape.
I wonder what it would take to get the creators of the Wheel of Time video game to open up a couple of those servers so that we could multiplayer.
You can play.
I know you can play, but I can't play with you.
You can't play multiplayer on that still?
I don't think you can multiplayer.
I played it not long ago.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the game.
Yeah.
It's just whenever you hit multiplayer, it's like sign into a server and all the servers are down.
Do you have it through? I forgot which company has it on their thing, or do you just have the disc? Oh, you have the disc. Okay. I have my original disc too, but you can actually download it through one of the game launchers. So I don't know if you play it through that, if there are actual servers.
Oh. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, you can set up your own LAN server and stuff like that. Maybe we could do that somewhere. GOG. Yeah, GOG has it. I knew one of them had it.
More shoddy coming with the facts. That's why he's
Next
a fact checker,
WoTCon,
Mihail.
make official request. We do a LAN party. Bring everyone. Bring your own
God.
computer. LAN party. Wheel of Time game.
That would be so cool.
It's not like you need to bring that crazy of a computer. It's from like 1994.
Right.
Bring a laptop and like a
Literally
normal laptop.
Any laptop would serve it. Yep.
Yeah, any
One of the
laptop
few
from the
games you
last
can play
10
on a
years would
Chromebook.
serve it. Time-wise, we were at 42 minutes and 49 seconds. And here,
You know what? You could probably show up with your grandmother's compact Presario and still
God.
play that game.
I haven't heard that.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you know the one, the
Bring
20-pound one with the 8-inch screen.
I'm gonna bring out the old Gateway Moo Moo machine.
Gateway. That was my first computer.
My first computer was an IBM PS1.
I mean, my first actual like machine that had a screen on it was a word processor. I don't even know what the fuck it was.
Sparkle's friend in the Twitch chat, like being all extra.
Commodore 64.
Baby! Kids today don't know the pain of the dial-up.
I appreciate
you went across. Don't go across the lines.
I appreciate it. Do you know my my puppet origin story? My felt form over here.
Do not. Your felt OC, as the kids say nowadays.
He started out as a Jesus puppet. There's very few cheap puppets that have a beard. Like it was like a Viking puppet that was a few $100s, or like really shitty, essentially gnome puppets. I'm sorry, Gnome and Garden. Or a Jesus puppet. So Jesus puppet, I went.
Nice.
He did come pre-built with his own flip-flops, though. Look at that.
Hey, that's nice, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well done.
I think that's the only channeling where we had like color. Was like that. Was like that one,
yes.
And like maybe one other one.
Yes.
That was cute too. Fucking Eamon Valdo was just like, what was that? What was that, bitch? Is that what you call fireball? I've seen. Heron looks a little like undead at that scene a little bit. He gave me Frankenstein's monster there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Damn, Gnome Garden. Yeah, you got me beat.
I thought I was gonna have it when I said I used to have to take the phone off the receiver and put it on that other weird device to do the dial-up. I forgot what it was. Like you actually had to take the receiver of the phone off and place it onto another device to use the dial tone from the phone.
Yep. And actually dial from the computer.
Yeah, it would play the tones into the phone.
Yep.
Wasn't that like just among the first modems? Wasn't that still called a modem?
I don't know if the device that you placed the receiver on had its own name or if it was just part of the modem.
I made my kids watch the movie Hackers from the 90s. And I kid you not, everything in there was so foreign to them. They're like, I don't even know what they're doing. Why didn't they just use Wi-Fi? And then later on it was, you made me watch your stupid internet movie.
Have you seen there's a channel where it's like a dad and his daughter, and she has like, obviously she's younger, so she has no idea like initially about what cassettes and everything are. So he just
he shows her stuff or says stuff to her.
Yeah, like the last one he did was like he had like the whole like turntable set up and was like, play this track off of this vinyl. And she's like trying to figure out what button to push, and she's like, well, it's not phone. And he's like, where do you see phone? And it's like right here, PHON. It just doesn't have the E. And he's like, it's phone for phonograph.
Yeah.
I forgive me, Irish Bear. I don't know how long you've been here, but hello. I'm glad that you got to join us tonight.
I remember whenever we thought we were like hot shit because we got the call waiting that you could accept or decline while you were connected to DSL.
Hold on, my call waiting.
Save where you were. Said it swore that it would save where you were if you like briefly disconnected, and it never did.
My dad, for reasons that will remain unsaid, was one of the first people that had the caller ID. It was like, I don't even know, probably 1997. It was a whole separate device that you had to plug into your phone line. And I remember when we got that, and it was pretty cool.
I suspect this is an added scene. It just kind of feels
right here?
so. out of place.
And this is what I mean. So like how much of the stuff that we got here was, so which one of these statues do you think is Mogideon now that we know Mogideon is in the
I have no idea. There's Samael though.
yeah, oh man.
Short King.
I'm thinking maybe the one on the back left was Mogideon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. I was looking for the one that had like the highest hair.
Yeah.
Softly, softly from the shadows.
See, now this is, but like these scenes are things they could have gone back and shot again after Barney left, because
exactly.
Barney's not in almost this entire episode. That's the only reason why I feel like maybe a lot of this was rewrites and reshoots after Barney left. That's the only reason why I think that, because every scene in this episode that is out of place, that feels out of place to me, or extended beyond what was really needed, doesn't have Matt in it, and we know Matt leaves in episode 6.
It's also a good like glimpse into like, we're talking about like Stefan. It's a good glimpse into like red flags to be on the lookout for. If you have like a friend that's like been really sad and really down in the dumps, and then suddenly out of nowhere they're really smiley and talkative and everything. Not saying it is, but it could be. So it's because, Stefan, after he goes and gets the goat's tongue, after then, anytime we see him on screen until the end of the episode, he's really smiley. He's fairly talkative. He seems like he's resolved and almost relieved, happy kind of thing.
Yeah.
'Tis true.
So just for no particular reason, I'm going to just throw this this banner up, but that is a thing that exists in the US now, which is fantastic. It is a recent addition to our phone lines, and it works even if you don't have a like a phone subscription on your phone. You could still get access to that, I believe. So if you know anybody, or if you are in need of that is always there for you.
Oh, sweet.
Free of charge.
I'm always for them making the hotline more accessible.
Yeah,
this has been there for a while, and then like for like the veterans one, it's the same number. They just say hit option 2, but now they have the 988.
Yeah,
that's a lot better.
Well, before it was like a whole 1-800 number. Now it's akin to 911. It's. I'm so glad that they did that.
That's pretty good.
I love that they had her snacking in bed, but at the same time, I hate that they had her snacking in bed. Also wearing shoes. I was like, girl, what the fuck is going on? Get the fuck out of my bed with your food and your shoes.
Well, wait, I thought she was barefoot laying down.
Was she barefoot? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, oh my God, your toes are about to touch that food. Ew.
She was smooth with it, putting those boots back on then.
Yeah, she was.
So now that we know, I mean, we kind of knew that this was a triangle the entire time, but we have confirmation of it now. How do you think that functions? My basic assumption was that it created its own like vacuole or whatever, and that's where you went, and whoever like went to it first had control of it or whatever.
I've had to distance myself. I've had to distance myself on this one and say this is just one of those things they made up completely and totally for the show. I don't think
it's a triangle.
I don't think there are any rules that can be applied from the books that would make sense there.
But I mean, triangles can be made to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's closer to like a shared dream space rather than like a vacuole, like some kind of weird mix of both.
Could be a dream shard. I mean, the dream shards are also from the book, and they go to them, and they're also controllable, just like what we see in that little pocket that they go to. Yeah, I guess they don't have bug problems on the 4,000th floor of the White Tower.
True. That is one of the things we know from the books. Plenty of cats.
Yep.
That's what we need in the actual TV show. More cats.
I agree. We only had one so far, right? Is our dirty little cat from Falm.
Yeah. I love that first scene because like as it was like super dark. Because for a split second, I'm pretty sure everyone went like, "Why the hell are we back in Shadow Logo?"
Shadow Logo. This and I got to say, like, as filler episode-y as this episode was, this is a powerful episode just in tone and content. I got to say.
Oh yeah.
And Daniel Henney does a great job in his acting here, and I think this is just another example, especially just like from the first episode when they took when Lan and Maureen took the bath together. It shows how deep their bond goes and how much they truly care for each other, without having to, because we don't have the feelings that they give each other through the bond like we did in the book. Like we read the feelings that they're having.
Sure.
From their perspectives, we can't get that here. So the way we see how deep their bond goes and how they feel for each other is through what we get in, I think, most in episode 1 when they have the bath, and here during this during the funeral scene.
Not to cheapen it, but just like looking at the angle at which Daniel Henney's running up those stairs, I wonder if his costume shoes were grippy enough to where he didn't slip, or if he like ate shit a time or two. Obviously, I hope he didn't.
Yeah. There's a question that we need to ask: how many injuries were on set, or can you not disclose those due to insurance purposes?
Next, since it'll absolutely be Dragonmount that gets a character interview before Black Tower does, I'd like to know if there's a blooper reel. When are we going to get a gag reel?
I want one soon. How much money do we have to give Amazon for them to give us a gag reel, please?
Please, yes.
So seppuku, yeah, that's what that looked like.
Not only that, but someone pointed out that that's the same place that Karenni was wounded.
That's true. Okay.
So it could be seppuku. It could be.
Well, it'd be like,
that's where he felt the pain.
We tried to cut it out.
Clearly, he wouldn't have a friend to do the decapitation.
Yeah, that's true.
Though that might have been the only way he felt like he could get his honor back, to like make it slow and suffer.
Exactly, Noman Garden. Exactly. In the Twitch chat, Noman Garden. Especially when they talk about how many pranks they do on set.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Which, now that the strike is over, we can actually get a lot of that information, and I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm excited to get the content that we have effectively been robbed of.
Yeah.
For the entirety of season 2.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of fun, I hate talking about fun things during the scene, but the what is his name? Daniel Chalamet, right?
Oh, Timothy
Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet did SNL, and he was just like, during his monologue, or during the end of the show, he was just shouting out things like Willy Wonka. He's like, I could finally talk. Like, someone else would be doing something else, and he'd just be like, Willy Wonka. I could finally talk about all of these movies that I did. So I'm hoping that we see random stuff like that from the Wheel of Time cast. Though. But here you go. Like, this is the scene. So like, obviously, all the warders are feeling how they feel about this, but particularly. Whenever you see Maureen, she's worse off than the last time you saw her.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, Rosamund Pike. Oh. She kills it. Absolutely kills it.
Yeah. No, it was a good show. It was good. Overall, it was a good episode. Like I said, anybody who likes anime should just kind of. Well, hold on. There's two parts to this coin. Anybody who likes anime should be able to look at this and go, okay, filler episode. Cool. I'm just going to skim through it and enjoy it and move on with my life. However, the other side of that coin is this is Wheel of Time. This is 15 books. They're trying to condense a lot of information. We do not have time for fillers.
That's why I'm thinking the only reason that we got the way we got this episode the way we got it is because of the re-edits. That's the only reason I'm thinking.
I would agree.
And I only know that they had the re-edits because Rafe said that they had to re-edit some of the earlier episodes. So I don't know.
Yes.
That's that would be like, that's the question I want answered the most, but I doubt we're ever going to get an answer to that question.
No,
so that's the episode.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
That was Blood Calls Blood. I mean, all in all, I know it was a filler episode. Like, that's what it was. Now, in my opinion, the purpose for it was because of them having to literally create a filler episode because of Barney leaving. I doubt if Barney left the show, they would have needed a filler episode. I'm sure we would have an entire episode dedicated to the Dagger and Barney and Pat and Fane and building on that, and we just couldn't get that. So they needed to fill up another 45 minutes of an episode after they cut up whatever episode 5 was originally going to be into what we got. That's my opinion.
Yep. I can see that.
Oh man, I don't know. I really liked the end of that episode, but I feel like if we had the bedroom scene, the Nynaeve scene, his actual finding of Steppen, and then that water scene, what's that, 12, 13 minutes? We didn't need, all of the discussions and everything else that we got. But I feel like we could safely say we know why we got what we got.
Yeah. Nope, I get that. And watching it again right now, it held up.
Yeah.
It held up. I'm watching it now. It is the same or better than it was my first time watching.
Yeah. I mean, especially having seen season 2 now and seeing the bits and pieces that they're building off of, we do know for a fact that, they were held back by Barney leaving and by COVID. So a lot of story had to be changed. A lot of set things had to be changed. So they weren't able to do a lot. They weren't able to do things exactly the way they wanted in season 1. In season 2, they were. So they took a lot of the stuff they did from season 1 and used it as stepping stones.
Right.
One of the big things
that's bad. Stepping stones.
You caught it. I'm glad someone caught it. I wasn't going to point it out because it was terrible. But Joe from Twatcast said this, and I never thought of it until he pointed it out. Which was now it's wow. When you said that, it drove it out of my brain.
You're welcome, but also I'm sorry.
What were we just talking about?
About how they used a lot of season 1
I remember.
stepping stones.
Yep, I got it.
Getting the context,
stone. Yeah. The they never shied away from showing Barney Harris is Matt in the flashbacks when they used flashbacks to season 1 in season 2. They just showed Barney Harris. They didn't edit him out. They didn't change him digitally to make him look more like Donald Flynn. They didn't refilm things to make it Donald Flynn. They just left it Barney Harris, and they it is what it is. And I appreciate that they did that. Like, I'm like, one, give the guy his props for what he did, because I think he did a great job. And
Absolutely.
don't try to cheapen it by like making it almost like it never happened. Like I think it was. I appreciate now that I really noticed it more after he pointed it out.
Yeah, no, I can't stand that whenever an actor changes and it's like the show just like.
Am I
tries to
saying
pretend
Flynn?
like it
Did
didn't
I say
change.
Flynn like blinded fool? I'm sorry. Obviously, my brain doesn't work. I forgot what I was saying 10 seconds as I was saying it because they got distracted by a shiny squirrel over in the corner. So
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
yeah. So I'm gonna change our little spoiler tag over to full book spoilers. So anyone who doesn't want to get a full book spoiler, you're gonna want to skedaddle. Go watch one of Black Tower Podcast's YouTube videos or listen to one of their old podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, when's your next episode going to come out? When's your new posting?
Friday morning. Every Friday morning.
Is there
So we
is it when you remember like to do it like me, or is it do you
So-
have like a specific time that you follow and you strictly
So for Podbean, for the audio component in our show, it is scheduled to go out at I want to say like 7:00 Eastern, 7 a.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And then for the video component, it is generally when I wake up and I roll over and I go, oh, okay, and video live.
Fair enough.
And if you are a Patreon, you get to watch the episode live on YouTube as we record it, and you get access to that episode. So if you miss like the live recording, you get to go to our Patreon, look at the link, and then watch the show, and you'll have early access to it.
Yay. What else do
That's
you
one
guys
of
do
our
on your
benefits.
Patreon? And I'm totally not gonna I'm not asking because I don't know what to put on on our Patreon. I'm like, what do people want? I have no idea.
Well, we're
Oh,
doing the
well,
best we can with ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to
I mean,
heckle in real time. I like that, Reese. I like that a lot. That is a great point.
Reese takes full advantage of that as well.
Yeah. Not as much as more shoddy, but we encourage it heavily. By all means. We do that. We send out stickers. It's also like the surefire way to get the coins that we have, the challenge coins that we have.
Oh, man, I am a fiend for coins. I need to.
Yeah. And then we do like a merch and everything. Live recordings for us are every Tuesday, generally around 8 p.m. Eastern. Generally lasts for about an hour and a half. So and 98% of our episodes are full spoiler for the books and whatever part of the TV show is out. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then we have some non-spoiler episodes. We always do a spoiler warning somewhere between like the first 2 minutes and the first 23 minutes, depending on if we're in our frat boy talking about beer mode or not. So
no, Reese, if that would have been a slammer, it's obviously metal. Come on.
Oh my God, Reese.
Oh my God, I forgot about Pogs.
This is the Ashaman level coin.
It's not a challenge
You can tell
coin,
because
it's
got the dragon on it.
Yeah.
It's the Black Tower Podcast official Ashaman coin. If you hold this coin, that means you are an Ashaman of the Black Tower Podcast. And there's the dedicated coin.
upside down logo.
It's good times.
Close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then if you're in our Discord, we have it set up to where it sends out an alert in the Discord whenever a new episode goes live on YouTube. So all kinds of fun stuff there.
Speaking of Discord, look at that link that's in the chat.
What?
That Discord. So if you scroll through our chat, and also I think I put it in the description. If not, I will put it in the description for people who watch this later. To your website, which links to everything, but I also have direct links to the Patreon and the Discord in chat now if you guys want to go check that.
Slide to you, sir.
Yes, absolutely. So now
Same with my what is this? Severed lime flavored water.
There it is.
Wait. Severed or severe?
Severed.
Severed. Okay.
Because it's liquid death, so they Like there's severed lime, mango chainsaw.
Oh, nice.
Got it.
That means
Mango chain. Well, I mean, what does severed lime mean?
I have no idea. Maybe it's like the taste that you get after you cut a lime in half. I don't know.
That's fair. You want to know something I learned like in the last couple of months that I never knew? Lemons aren't real. They're not formed in nature. They're a genetic modification that people made a few thousand years ago to limes. Limes were the original. Actually, it's not even really limes as they are today either. Through selective growing of lime trees or large bushes, we got the limes the way they are. But lemons are a complete creation of humans. So you know how when people say when life gives you lemons, it doesn't. It never
doesn't.
My lemon lime soda is actually just lime and mutant lime soda.
Exactly. It's exactly correct.
They
were citrons.
Are we going there right now?
There you go.
Life doesn't give you lemons.
Nomen Garden
Humans give you lemons.
With the Wheel of Time knowledge. He is a tree of knowledge we've but to pick from him. This man.
I feel like there's like a proverb now in that where it's like, life doesn't give you lemons, but you get life, so make what you can of it. Something like that. Somebody more eloquent than I can make it sound better.
Put that on the next challenge coin. That's
there you go.
Exactly as he just said.
4-point font. Half circle around the coin.
Love it.
Man.
Perfect.
So one of the things that we brought up during the episode when we weren't talking past book 3 spoilers was Nynaeve cleansing of the taint.
Yes.
Do you think she uses wipes when she cleanses the taint? Or no? Anyway,
hopefully. The question
that is the least irritating way to do it.
Baby wipes and like dude wipes.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, wait, what's a dude wipe? Because once I used a Clorox wipe, and I would suggest never doing that. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know I was using a Clorox wipe when I grabbed one, and it was bad. It was bad. It was very
growing
bad.
up. We called that the redneck anal bleach.
Yeah. Well, I called it the time I inadvertently bleached my own butthole.
Yeah, but it was radiant
butthole bleaching happens.
for at least a week.
It was very clean. It was
your
very
butthole was dealing +2 radiant damage.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
But back to Nynaeve. I think they've been doing a good job if they're gonna go that route. With having Nynaeve cleanse the taint on Sidene, because I don't know if they were building it in the scene like you said. Like maybe they were starting it there, but I for sure think that in the scene where Leandrin talks about killing men who can channel as the way to cure the disease of Sidene, and Nynaeve being like, what? That's not how you cured. That's not curing a disease. Like the healer in her was like, bitch, that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, I really feel like that was definitely a moment of not only Nynaeve never choosing the Red Aja, but also Nynaeve deciding she was going to figure out how to clean Sidene so that it is, doesn't drive people crazy anymore.
Yeah. I mean, she's got renewed motive now that she knows that, Randa's alive.
And has to continue to channel.
Yeah. So seeing how everything went with Logain, she could absolutely be like, I've got to save him. I can fix him.
This is where I'm.
Oh yeah, the Brita filter scene in the beginning. That is absolutely true.
Yep. Well, and we'll have to go back and watch to just double check. But if it's true that her Super Saiyan wave actually clears some of the taint off of Logain as well,
yeah, like Thanos snaps away.
Yeah,
Like Spider-Man.
that's a good intro to that, I think.
I'll make you guys a promise tonight. I'll go and screen grab that scene and slow it down, and I'll post it on the Dragonmount socials tonight, and we'll see if we can see if we can get a good visual of that. That is what I'll do when we're done with this episode, because my computer does not like when I have multiple high res things going and then I open up Adobe Premiere. It gets very angry at me.
Well, how does that work when you turn on your webcam? Because you're very high res yourself, sir.
Well, that's it. That's one of them, and then I have
both of the U's.
Yeah, then I have Twitch going, and then if I were to play the episode and open up Adobe Premiere, I mean, like, my computer's pretty good, but I don't want to push it that far.
What? Adobe has never been resource intensive. Never, ever.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely try to. I'll do that tonight. It shouldn't be hard. I think I could do that pretty fast. And we'll get a good look to see if that's what's happening.
Love it.
Is there anything else? Anyone in chat or you guys that you guys want to bring up that is a spoiler before we start to wrap things up for the night?
I can't think of anything other than to say that one of the other things that I really enjoyed about this episode was the misdirect with Matt, because they've been leading up to this misdirection that the Matt's sickness is because of his, he's channeling, and so this whole season, you have this misdirect, and they really kind of hammer that home with Logain laughing when he drives by them, and I like that a lot from a viewer perspective, because then it kind of goes, what? Yeah, for the non-book reader, yeah. So that's just another point that I really thought they did really, really well, that I really appreciated.
Now, do you think that they planned all along for that Logain laughing scene to have been real or to have been imagined? Like, because we know in season 2 it was real, like he did it because he talks about it. But having gone back and we just saw it, like immediately after it, he's not like he's sitting in the
he sits back again. It was a little weird.
I mean, like, the time, like it's a show, so the time doesn't need to be flowing exactly correct. But do you think that was always their plan?
I think Matt saw it as a delusion, but Rand didn't.
Maybe.
Okay.
Because they for season 1, they kind of make it like seem like Matt's the one focusing in on it.
Because he's the last person they show on the camera.
Yeah, because they're doing the whole like, don't look at Rand. Rand clearly isn't the one. We're going to show you that by just never having him do something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, which by the way is much better for story building wise than Robert Jordan did in the book, because like, who's the Dragon Reborn? Anyone reading the book immediately knows it's Rand. I mean, the book opens up on him.
The same, just the inverse.
But like, that's fair. That's fair. But having like reading the book, 80% of the book is his point of view, and the first character that you meet, like outside of Luce Theron and Ishamael, is him. Like that's the first character that you meet. So it
is a lot more direct in the books. That is absolutely fair.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like the misdirection was done well.
But yeah, no, so that's kind of what I take it as, like with season 2 going back and showing it again from Rand's kind of POV.
Yeah.
And them talking about him laughing. That like Matt was like, this guy is laughing at me. But Matt, we know from the books, he's fighting his own delusions, like mentally. Mainly because Rand keeps going like, bro, chill out. In the books, like you're freaking out for no reason.
You're scaring everybody.
Maybe he's doing that. Yeah. So
that's fair. They did cut it that way specifically, that it did look like it was in their head. But and I'm glad that they still kind of threw in a little bit of the reference in season 2 of seeing the Tavarin, but he doesn't exactly say that directly, so we're still not sure if that's going to be a thing or not. But I like that they still kind of had that reference in there.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think even Valda has like a preceding like trauma with wolves. given how drastically he reacts in episode 5 whenever Perrin gets the golden eyes, and he immediately goes from like, I'm the best thing since sliced steak or whatever. Light, help me, what are you? And then in season 2, like the moment he gets attacked by a wolf and gets free, he pieces the fuck out of there. Like he's like gone.
Oh yeah, gone
immediately. So even in wolves, I don't think they get along. Well, clearly they don't, but more so than just being on opposite sides. I wonder what happened to him. If I don't think they're actually going to show anything happening to him, like preceding. I don't think we're going to get an him involved a childhood trauma arc. But it makes me think there's something there.
That's fair. It is a little freaky, especially when you see the shadow in everybody. When you see like literal, like actual monsters that exist, and you think like that anything that is out of the ordinary can be one of those. And to be fair, they could be, like, because it's real in this world. I don't really blame them for being terrified. I don't really blame them.
I don't fully blame him, but like, you're so used to seeing people conjure like literal flames and like weapons of air, like out of thin air. And you see some dude whose eyes just now look golden, and like you go from like I'm in control to pure terror. It was a bit much for me, but that's just me.
I wonder if it's just like the human condition, like what has become commonplace and understood is less scary than something that is completely unknown, like where Perrin's thing is a completely unknown factor, where, the White Cloaks have been dealing with Aes Sedai. I mean, like literally dealing with them. And he's personally killed plenty to where maybe he's not that scared of the one power, but like this thing that is completely unknown to him is frightening. That's the only reason why I don't have that same feeling, because I totally understand why you would have that feeling. But that's the only reason why I don't. Because it makes sense. Like, channeling
recognize
so much
seeing the eyes in the dark.
Yeah,
and like camping out and wolves popping up and attacking.
Yeah,
so maybe it's
to be fair, that did happen to
human
him.
Being uncanny valley thing, where like that happens with us. It's like, okay, we have a lot of these reactions for some biological reason, assumedly.
Yeah,
assumably, whatever the right word is.
It's a word now. The and that's another thing that I like that they did the callback to the wolves attacking scene and Elias saying, "Hey, that was us," in season 2. So it's almost like the books, where like now if you can go like as you learn new information as you go through the seasons, you can go back and rewatch the earlier stuff and get new stuff from it. Like it's not as much as the books, because like I can tell you, I don't know when the last time I read the books and learned something new was, but it was like 10, 12 rereads in that I was still finding new things. So like,
yeah.
Though I haven't, to be fair, I haven't read Towers of Midnight, Gathering Storm, and A Memory of Light as many times as I've read, like, 1 through Winter's Heart. Like Crossroads, I've read, maybe a dozen times, and then after that, it gets significantly less. And that was only because I was going back and rereading as they were coming out. So.
Well, I've got the same thing. I used to joke that, people would say, "Oh, have you read The Wheel of Time?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I've read The Eye of the World like 12 times, and I've read A Memory of Light 3 times." Because it's
exactly
the natural progression of things.
Yeah, see, Morshadi has is in the same boat as us too.
Yeah.
So I think it's it's 10 to 11. Some of us turn into pumpkins. I know a lot of folks have work in the morning, but and children, yes, children too. I always forget about those. My children are small and are covered in fur and sleep throughout the entire day all over wherever they want. So I don't have to worry about them. But yes, See, Iris Bear loves us. She comes and just plays hooky and works through this. I appreciate the dedication. I appreciate the dedication. But what is like? What are you guys doing next? So we have your next episode will be released Friday. What's on the horizon for the dynamic duo of the Black Tower podcast?
Well, let's see.
I know
there
one
will
thing
be
you're doing.
There will be a fantasy league
game.
for season 3. That's a thing. Be sure to tune in to our show as we're going to be having lots and lots of guests over the next couple of months.
Yay.
So we're going to have a lot of unique perspectives, a lot of unique voices there. Some people you've seen before, some people you've not seen before.
Ooh.
It's going to be real exciting. Also, hashtag is it April yet? If you know, you know.
See, I love that people post that mainly because my birthday's in April. So
that's what I was referring to.
Obviously.
Yeah. Before that, we have WoT Holiday coming up in December.
Oh, that's right.
So that's
and we've got with WoT Holiday, we've got a map.
A map?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember? Have you seen the map that Rob Christensen from Weekly WoT News made?
Yes. I love his map.
So, his very first print from that actually has a slight error in it.
Ooh.
It's like it's along the border, but it's got a slight error from that. So we picked it up because of that. And then at last WotCon, we had it out on a table in the common area, and asked everybody that was coming through to sign it. Like there was a little sign by it, like, "Hey, please sign this." So you got a lot of people that went to WotCon that signed it. There may or may not be signatures on it from the illustrious innkeeper known as Matt Hatch.
Ooh.
Myself and Josh, of course. Ratopedia, I know, signed it. Kate Redding signed it. And I know Dr. Livingston signed it as well.
Nice.
And Kevin Angus. So there's just a bunch of them. There's plenty of them to look at all across the back of the map that's signed. So
I think I signed it too, to be honest.
I think you did.
I think I signed it when we were singing.
I
think I did it when we were singing drinking songs at 3:00 in the morning.
Very likely.
Iris Bear has a question for you guys I cannot answer. When is the release date of the Fantasy League, if you guys know?
So it'll coincide with the release of season 3.
So it would be prior to season 3.
We will announce. So as soon as we know when season 3 is coming out, we will announce prior to season 3 that we are signing up for teams, et cetera,
yes,
things like that.
And I'll call myself out. I was gonna do some things for you guys, and I completely dropped the ball because of real life adulting shit that came up. And I'm gonna try to do some stuff. I'm gonna try to do those things because I was really excited about them for the next season. I can't participate in the game because of the screeners, and that would be cheating.
Yeah.
And the honest person inside of me won't let me cheat at a game. So I cannot do that. But I will have some fun. I have some ideas for things. So we'll see.
So you didn't drop the ball. You were busy.
Stuff
came up.
Yeah, there is a difference.
You
fair.
didn't drop the ball. You were missed. But
That's fair. But I will. I'll just continue. It's added to the list of things that I will dwell on in my head when I'm trying to go to sleep. That's just how that works.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that and my friend's Tupperware that I ruined in her house 12 years ago when I accidentally heated up tomato sauce. That's the type of shit that goes on in my head when I'm trying to go to sleep. So anyway, aren't one of you also streaming video games now or some shit?
So I have played Overwatch a total of 2 times in my life, and turns out there were a couple of other Wheel of Time folks that also stream video games, and we kind of formed a team on Overwatch, and so it's kind of a thing we're going to start doing, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna try to join you guys for the next one. I'm excited.
it's a lot. You know what? I will say this: I'm enjoying Overwatch a lot. It's actually a lot of fun.
I'm usually not a fan of first-person multiplayer, like first-person shooter multiplayer games, but Overwatch has just enough non-traditional first-person shooter shit built into it enough that I enjoy it. I don't really like Blizzard as a company, but yes, Overwatch. That is the new title of that now. By the way,
that is actually what that is. Yes,
that is what we're going to be calling that. I can't believe we didn't already.
Oh no, it's in the chat.
It was in the chat. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think more shoddy said it.
Fantastic. Good. That is, well, if it's not, if that's not the title of everyone's stream for that week when we do it, then we're failures. Speaking of game streaming, though, I'm going to be doing more of that now that you lovely people got us affiliate on Twitch. Us as in Dragonmount. And some of the other Dragonmount team members have thrown out some ideas of things they want to do. So you might see some Kitty and maybe some Maureen for those who have watched past rewatch episodes. She's joined us for a few. She's also on the Dragonmount podcast with Rajiv and Kathy, who talk about the. They only do the podcast for the episodes, though. So they basically start up, do a podcast episode for each television episode that comes out, and then they kind of close down again until the new season comes out. So,
very nice.
Very exclusive podcast that Dragonmount does. But if that is all you guys have, I will repost y'all's link to y'all's website in the chat. So please, if you haven't already, and I don't know who could possibly not have already gone and checked out the Black Tower Podcast's website, which has links to all their social media, the Patreon, the Discord, the merch. Go check it out.
Right.
Any kind of support you can give is obviously appreciated and goes right back into the podcast. I know, and I can say that because I know it. I see it in everything that y'all do. And I've seen on the back end of how much effort you guys put into it, and it shows. And thank you for providing us with endless laughter and cringe-worthy jokes. There's lots of cringing, so much cringing. I'm glad I got that. I'm glad I got a little bit. I got Josh to choke tonight. Yeah,
it's got a very
#is
that one you have to check out our Only Taints.
Nice.
That's right.
That's right. So I guess we'll see everybody next week when we watch episode 6.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Say goodnight, Josh.
Good night, Josh.